I'm Sori.
That's Sparky.
And Salty and Chip.
We don't have anywhere in the world in the village, do we?
No. Today we have this. Ta-da! Looks like Sori was right. There is such a thing.
Oh.
My buddy Jason sent this to me. This is for all you haters, including you, Vin.
I'm not even going to comment on it.
What?
You did not. That's a very specific flower.
Yes, I knew that
Stamen.
I studied it in school, though.
You did know such
Yes,
thing.
I did.
I don't believe you.
Whatever.
Well, I know your teacher, so I will go and talk to her.
You can ask my teacher, but she didn't do all of that with us. We read our own books. She didn't read to me when I was in the 8th grade.
This is Behemoth.
Anyway, I was right, guys. This is Behemoth. We're going to do this. And
The God equals dog lyric video.
hopefully this lyric video is correct, that there's no things wrong in it.
No errors.
No errors. Actually, the wrong word is in there.
God, I ate my candy right before we started filming. Okay. So here's the lyric video. I think this lyric video is awesome.
They want to know which candy it is. It's these. He loves these things.
I think whoever did this, whoever did this lyric video deserves like a hug and a kiss and stuff.
Really? You think so?
Only from me though.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get a bunch of people. I'll do it. All right, so now we have the lyrics. So as we promised in the video breakdown.
Yeah, that it was going to be coming out. And so here you all are.
Let's do it.
Nurgle, if you happen to see that,
Big homie.
come on. We really want to talk to you.
You know you want to talk to us, Nurgle.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
All right, ready?
Let's go.
Go.
Good job. I read somewhere Nergal said that the title for the record came from the words of Jesus in the Bible. I loved you at your darkest. There's no...
I was like, where is that?
There's no line in the... There's no place where Jesus says that in the Bible. So, actually, yeah. So, I mean, of course...
I mean, I think that the statement is true. That God would say that I loved you at your darkest because, you know, it does say that he loved us before we first loved him. So we were at our darkest before he had us. So I think that the statement is true. Maybe that's the verse that he's thinking about. I don't know. But those specific words are not in there.
I loved you at your darkest?
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't in the Bible at all. But it's interesting that Nergal believes that Jesus said that because that's something that Jesus would say.
Yeah.
I showed you that video because Metal Revolver or something had had the video of him with the kids.
Yeah, I thought that was so cute.
I know. He says he loves kids, and I said in the other video I'd feel much safer with our kids hanging out with Nergal than the priest. I'm sorry, my Catholic friends, but Nergal looks like he'd take a bullet for a kid.
It was so funny because, yeah, like you said, after that, then we saw that video clip. And when I was watching, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, it was such a cute picture, and he was like getting them.
Yeah, he's a beautiful brother. Yeah, getting them the blast.
Wait, I can put it right now, can I?
Well, yeah.
Here it is.
There's a video. But it's interesting when he said Jesus Christ, he pointed upwards.
Yes.
He loves him some Jesus. He's just hurt.
I think you're right.
Get on with us, Nergal.
Yeah, talk to us, brother.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting line. It was a very interesting moment.
Yeah.
When he said Jesus, and then he pointed upwards. He said it pretty passionately too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hiding in plain sight. Y'all have no idea. Okay.
Maybe he won't meet with you. He'll be like, my secret's out.
So it was interesting because before you made this lyric video, which you did an awesome job. You did a real... It's funny, I was in the shower and I was listening to the song. I was like, sorry, I need you to make a lyric video for this thing. Because we were going to do the breakdown. And she goes, do you want me to go all out or basic? I'm like, just do basic. So then I'm looking at the video, I'm like, this is basic? What the hell was all out going to be?
I mean, it was going to take me hours. This one took me, you know, a chunk of time.
It took you a big chunk of time.
But it would have taken twice as much if I was going to do...
This girl went from no editing whatsoever to being the monster that you all know and love now.
I didn't even know what any of the words meant.
You're a monster.
Like, I seriously was having trouble just figuring how to turn on the computer. I'm serious. Yeah. But this one's a little bit different because it's a button on the side.
If you're starting out, Sori will consult with you. $50 an hour. VinandSori@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was looking for lyrics here, I actually ran into that whole "is God to live in a dog? No, but the highest are of us."
Yeah.
That's actually a quote from the Thelemic text, Liber al ve legis.
Okay, what does it mean?
I'll talk about it in a second. I don't even know what Liber means. Liberty, freedom. Al ve legis, I don't know what that means. So we'll see in a second. But let's just go down, and then once we get there. Because I got a bone to pick with y'all.
Ooh.
Okay. So there's a serpent coiling around my neck. Well, I mean, the serpent's obviously the devil.
Well, yeah. But who's Nergal in this? Is he supposed to be... Who is he supposed to be in this?
I think he's just supposed to be him, or a representation of, you know, this brand of Satanism or whatever.
Okay.
But I think he's talking about himself.
What's the crescent moon? Because whenever I hear that part, I always think of the you know, they always have the glowing halos around him. It looks like a crescent moon. But what is he actually talking about?
Well, the crescent moon is when it's like that. You know, like I know
what a crescent moon is. Yeah, it's like it's not a full moon. It's just the piece of the moon.
Crescent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all like symbols of ancient religions. So like the Holy River Ganga is...
Yeah, what is it?
When I learned about it in school, it was the Ganges. It's a river in India.
Okay. It's a gross river? Or a holy river?
It's a holy river. It's become gross because of, you know...
Yeah, I was like, I have two words in my mouth. My head, like,
post-industrial, blah, blah, blah. But the Ganges, I want to say, rivals the Nile as, like, the oldest, holiest river.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that religion... You know, because you think of, like, in the ancient world, your survival had a lot to do with, you know, living by water. Mm-hmm. And so you had the sun, obviously, was worshipped for obvious reason, and then you had the river was worshipped for obvious reasons. So the Nile in Egypt, and then the Hindus worshipped the Ganges. In the Ganges River. It's a very, very holy place.
Okay.
And it's a Hindu holy site. What's interesting to me is that he calls it the Holy River Ganga or Ganges, flowing through my muddled hair.
Yeah.
Like he gives respect to. He has no problem blaspheming Christian iconography. But he references the Ganges in very flowery terms. Like he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that is interesting.
He has a lot of respect for the Ganges.
Okay.
But the Christian imagery he like completely goes out of his way to blaspheme. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you don't have an issue with the concept of holiness or whatever.
Right.
Because you have some people who are just like equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to destroy religion, period.
Yep.
I hate religion, period. I'm going to mock religion, period. But the adoring the crescent moon, you know, like, you get all these, like, anti-Muslim evangelical conspiracy theorists. Muhammad was a pagan!
Yeah.
Because the crescent moon is very big iconography in Islamic thought, and the crescent moon has been a pagan symbol for, you know, millennia. So they look at that as a proof that Muhammad was a pagan. Of course, the entire the grounding principle of Islam is La ilaha illallah, right? There's only one God. Like, fierce monotheism. So the idea that he came from, I mean, they were pagans in his you know, Jahiliyyah, you know, the period before he had his revelation. Of course, they were all pagan.
Right.
What does that have to do with anything? Like, it's like, yeah, I understand, like, he descended from pagan people. But that doesn't mean that he was pagan. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so the serpent obviously is the devil, or like in our world, the serpent is a bad thing, but it's coiling around his neck.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thought process to me, because it's like, if a serpent is coiling around your neck, you're about to die.
You're about to die. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like. But the devil's usually a hero in his music, like "O Father, O Satan, O Son." Yeah. Right, like the devil's a hero, but here.
Well, I don't know. I guess there's two ways that a snake could be coiling. It could be coiling because you're about to die, or it could be, you know, some people that they have like this fetish with snakes, and they have like the snake will like slowly coil around their neck, not to kill them, but just to like be there. You know, like they have this relationship with the snake.
Oh, yeah. But I think there's still a recognition that it's not totally your friend.
Yeah.
Like, you could be friend with a dog, like a pit bull, for example, and be like, oh, pit bulls are misunderstood. Like, I've never heard, like, a snake person say snakes are misunderstood.
I have heard people say it.
What?
Yes, I have.
Like, that they're misunderstood and they're really nice?
Yes.
Who? Do I know the person?
I mean, it's just people that we've met.
We used to have
we always met the most interesting characters.
Well, we had a Christian friend who had like a pet snake, and you know, he used to buy rats for his.
Remember, we used to see random people like walking around with like strange things on their shoulders, like it might be a parrot or it might be a snake.
Yeah.
Like those type of people that are like walking around the city like that. Like it was like those type of people that are like, oh, snakes are just misunderstood, and you know, people.
He literally said that.
Yeah, I literally think it was those words.
The same guy we're talking about?
I don't know if it was the same guy. I don't know if you saw him, but yeah, he felt like that they were misunderstood. I'm like, it's so weird because I almost thought I remembered you being there, but I guess not.
I've never heard anyone say
that. Anyway.
In ancient times before I learned of who I am. So all these ancient sort of pagan religions. Of course, Hinduism is not a pagan religion, but Christians generally, just anything that's not Abrahamic, we just classify as pagan.
What's not pagan?
Hinduism.
Hinduism? Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Everything just goes all in the same box.
Yeah.
Anything that's not Christian is just pagan. Yeah.
Well, no, anything that's not Abrahamic. So, like,
yes.
we don't call Muslims pagans.
No.
You know.
Right.
So it's like.
Right.
In the ancient times before I learned of who I am. So it's like, what does that mean? He's like the essence of all these other religions, and he eventually got some enlightenment to who he actually is.
Clearly he is.
Yeah. Because I was reading this thing in Thelema where it's like, you can either be a star or a dog, basically. Mm-hmm. And like, you have to be, you know, the higher up you go in your consciousness of like self-will and self-empowerment, like the more powerful you are and all this jazz. And
you can either be a star or a dog?
Yeah. I'll explain it to you in a second.
Okay.
I'm a missing link between the pig and the divine. I shall cast the pearls before the swine. This was a very intelligent line to me.
Why? When he says cast the pearls before the swine, does he mean himself?
No, he says, I shall cast the pearls before the swine.
Yeah. Well, he says, if I am a missing link between the pig and the divine, I shall cast. So he's saying that if he actually is, so he's saying, like, if he's the thing that's going to connect the pearls and the swine, like the divine.
The pig and the divine.
The pig and the divine, right, which would be, I'm assuming that because the pearls is what he's...
So the pig is an unclean animal.
Yeah.
And then you have God, and then he's like somewhere between an unclean animal and God. Mm-hmm. Like he's the link between the two.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. Maybe it wasn't really clear.
Well, I think he's talking. I think he's talking about his music.
Well, that's what I felt like it was like, because, and I said before, I'm sure that he gets a ton of mail of people that have been hurt by the church and people that have been, you know, cast out, rejected, and stuff like that, and then to be that, like, recognizing them for their humanity. And like, so many people have said, like, I'm reconsidering Jesus, I'm reconsidering God because of you. And a lot of people would think that what we're doing even is not right. Like, Christians would say, this is wrong, what we're doing.
What's wrong?
Reviewing the metal music, swearing.
Listening to people? Well, yeah, swearing fine, but like...
But reviewing this type of music? Yes.
Listening to what people have to say?
Listening to this type of music? Yes.
And trying to understand where they're coming from?
Yeah.
I don't think a Christian... If I think they would have an assumption, but then when you said, no, it's just about listening to people and understanding where they're coming from and what they're trying to actually say. And then you don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you got to hear what people are saying.
You are completely wrong. I know specific churches.
There's a billion Christians on the planet. But you know. How would you know?
I didn't say every single one, but I'm saying that there's plenty of Christians that would say that this is wrong. And so...
To listen to...
The reason why... I need you to stop and listen to me. The reason why... So many people are saying, I would have never given Christianity church a chance. I'm listening to you guys. I'm thinking about going back to church. I'm actually going to read a Bible because of you. All these messages that we're getting of people saying stuff like that. Why is it that they keep saying, you're the only Christians, ... You're the only Christians, ... That means that the majority of these people in the majority of those experiences are not getting experiences where people are bridging the gap between God and them.
No.
You're wrong.
I think it has to... It couldn't be that it's working the other way, that Christians don't get a hearing among these people.
I think that...
It couldn't be that the bigotry is going the other way.
No, I don't believe that to be the case. I think
it's a one-way street.
I think
it's just that simple.
No, I'm saying that I don't think that either party, somebody has to stop and listen.
I agree with that.
And I don't think that the type of Christianity that a lot of people want to put forward and make you fit into a little box is going to work for people that actually want to have their personality, be themselves.
What are you doing, Helga? Yeah, I mean, if somebody came up to me and said, listen, I listen to Satanists because I want to understand where they're actually coming from, and then I want to see what I actually disagree with or agree with, I'd say, well, oh yeah, that's a biblical principle.
Yes.
Because in the Proverbs it says
everybody is like you. No, most people...
Let's just go back to our review. I just disagree with you.
You can.
I just disagree with you. I think Christians are
anyway. So what I'm saying is, I think that
than you give credit for.
I think that right. I think that Nergal has had situations over and over and over again of people in the church that have hurt other people, and there is no bridge between the two. And so I think that he's communicating that he's kind of being that bridge of sanity, even though I don't even know that he realizes.
Says the bridge, the link between the pig and the divine.
Yes.
Well, if you think the devil's a divine being, then that blows up your whole thingamajig.
Why?
Because he's a link between the pig and the divine, so his music is connecting people with dark divinity.
Okay.
So then I'll cast the pearls before the swine, because the devil's all about the unclean and blah, blah, blah.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
You think he's saying, my music is connecting people to God?
No. I think... boy, that is an interesting thing. I think that he's being a voice... I think he's being a voice of, like, understanding and reason to people. And that's what he means by pearls before swine.
Understanding and reason? What are you talking about?
Because people are not very reasonable to other people a lot of times.
Okay, so he is a voice of understanding and reasoning. What understanding has he done for Christianity? He doesn't seem that he's put forth much effort.
No, but I think that he's saying, look, what the church does is wrong. And I think that him being that voice...
That's such a difficult case to make in the modern world.
What do you mean?
I'm being sarcastic. Like, how difficult of a case is that to say that the church is doing wrong things? Is that like some groundbreaking revolutionary principle?
No.
No, I mean, that's actually the easiest thing you could possibly do.
Okay.
Like, coming up with a metal song that says society sucks and Christians are being mistreated, that would be going against the grain. This is not... I'm not saying...
Okay, well, tell me what you think his point is.
No, I'm just saying that I don't think that what you're saying is... definitely don't think he's trying to be a voice of reason and understanding. That's for sure.
I think that I do. I think that he's trying to help people feel understood in their quests. Because I think that people have been... Whatever.
Well, he's not trying to, like, help Christians feel understood in their quests.
No, because he thinks that they're the ones that have been terrible to people.
You think that he thinks that all 1 billion Christians on the planet have been terrible to people?
I think he thinks the majority of them, yeah.
I think what he's saying is that his position as a rock star makes him... Because I think pig here is just a metaphor for human.
Okay.
Because we're just basically unclean, which I think is accurate, actually. But I don't think that we're pigs. But anyway.
Okay.
Well, he's got... But he because he's a musician,
yeah,
you get, exalted to an almost semi-divine position.
Okay.
So he's somewhere between being a regular person and a god. So he's saying, I'm going to take that influence and then use my music, these pearls,
to do what?
before I'm going to cast the pearls before the swine.
And what's the point of his music?
The point of his music, at least the music that we've reviewed, is to take people disenfranchised by Christianity and give them a vehicle by which they can say, fuck you. That's not the same as understanding.
That is understanding!
No.
Of course that's understanding!
Okay.
What are you talking about? What the heck?
You're out of your mind.
No, I'm saying, if nobody understands where you're coming from...
Okay, what I'm saying is everybody understands animus toward Christianity.
Yeah.
What do you mean no one understands where you're coming from? Everybody and their mother understands that. What are you talking about?
How do I explain this?
It's not understanding. That's just...
my buddy Jason sent the email to help me.
I think it's a brilliant line, and I think what he's doing a very good job at it. And I think that he almost has no choice based on the fact that he's in Poland and the Catholic Gestapo has been persecuting him.
Yes. So when they have this vehicle that is his music, how do they feel when they hear it? You think they feel understood?
They're galvanized. Everybody understands them, but
feel understood. Feel we're getting a hearing, putting our voice out there. Yes, I'm not going to forgive God. I'm not going to. Yeah.
All right.
Stick to my original thing.
I am no good shepherd on an ox.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
But see, what he's saying is, look, I'm speaking for you guys, but I'm not Jesus. You know, I'm the good shepherd.
I'm no good shepherd on an ox?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking very concretely.
An ox.
I see a shepherd standing on an ox.
Sitting.
Okay, he's
I'm a
sitting
good shepherd.
on it. So
Okay, I'm the good
riding,
shepherd.
Yes.
The good shepherd laid down his life for his sheep.
That's what
John
Jesus
chapter.
said, yes.
That's John chapter 10.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Jesus saying, because the only way to be a good shepherd according to Jesus is to lay down your life for your sheep. Right?
Yes. Yep.
And what he's saying is, I'm gonna cast the pearls before the swine, which would be his fans, his people.
Yeah.
And then he says, but I'm not a good shepherd. Like, you guys aren't my sheep, and I'm not gonna die for you, right? I am no good shepherd on an ox. An ox is a beast of burden, right? Like, you kind of like ride around the ox and you know, just work him into the ground.
I've never seen anyone ride an ox, but yes, okay.
Right? And so it's like a lot of these, my take on it is a lot of these pastors, like, they're shepherds, but they're riding around on the backs of people. You see what I'm saying? Like, these religious people use their followers like beasts of burden.
Okay.
Instead of being an actual good shepherd that helps people, you just kind of ride around on people. It's like, oh, I need my private jet and blah, 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 blah. So when he says, I'm no good shepherd on an ox, I think he's saying a lot there. He's saying, one, you guys aren't my sheep, even though I'm speaking for you in the previous verse. Two, I'm not going to die for you. Like, you got to take care of yourself, which is Satanism, right? Like, Satanism doesn't believe in emotional vampires, I think is what they're called. And three, I'm not one of these pastors who will pretend to care about you, but in reality, I'm going to use you like a beast of burden.
Okay.
Well, how did you take it?
It made no sense to me. I thought there was actually some ancient book or something and had to do with some, I don't know. I just thought there must have been something else that...
Well, if there is, then I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But a solitude of the loneliest star.
Okay, that part was sad to me.
Why?
Because I just felt like it was a way of describing how he feels.
Well, how so?
Well, he just said he's not a good shepherd and all that stuff, but what he actually is, he's like in a place of solitude. He's like of the loneliest star, like, so he's like shining out there, like you can see him and see what's going on, but like he's alone.
Well, solitude is usually a good thing.
For you.
Well, solitude is like, loneliness is like being alone and not having peace. Solitude is like being alone but having peace. Like Superman, he has this place called the Fortress of Solitude.
I've also heard solitary confinement. So when I hear solitude, I think of that.
Yeah, but confinement means being in prison. I think what he's saying is both. I think what he's saying is being a rock star and having all these people like...
He wants some solitude.
Clamoring on you. No, I'm not your good shepherd.
Yeah.
Like, I need my solitude. But at the same time, it's also a lonely place to be because nobody understands you.
That would make total sense. That would make total sense. You know, you were listening to an interview the other day. I don't know, was it Slipknot?
Probably.
But anyway, the guy was saying, like, basically he just wanted to be, like, alone because everybody was always wanting something from him. And you just never know, you know, who are your real friends. Once you get to fame or whatever, like, who are your real friends? Or who just is there because they want something from you. And he was essentially saying people always wanted something.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure, you know, I'm sure he feels the same way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough way to live. Like 1,000 shrines subsumed into the void. Like a dead space between it. Why are you looking like that?
Oh, just because that's how you are. Like, that happens to you when, you know, people are like that with you. Like, but so I'm just looking at you and I was feeling pity upon you. Pity be upon you.
Well, I mean, that's why I stay up so late. Because you get the solitude. You get the quietness.
I know, and I feel sad for you when you're up like that. Like, the other night I fell asleep and then I like woke up and I saw you walking around the room. And I was like, I feel sad for you.
I was going to say, your ass stayed right in the bed.
Yeah, but I'm assuming you wanted your solitude.
like 1,000 shrines subsumed into the void.
That was crazy. Like, I got a visual on that one.
What did you get?
Like, well, the shrines is like a place of worship and kind of be a holy place and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, to me it was just like everything was just like, if it gets sucked into a void, like all the stuff that was like so super meaningful becomes nothing. It just got sucked into the void. Like a dead space between the suns. Like, there's just nothing there. Like, when you're explaining that solitude, it doesn't sound fun.
Well, yeah, it looks like he feels the emptiness.
Yeah.
He's doing really significant shit, but he's also very empty, and he's like a shrine. It's like a locus of meaning.
Yeah.
You know, like shrines are like places where the icons and the symbols that go around a shrine are all metaphorical of something that has that's deeply meaningful. As a matter of fact, shrines are the most meaningful. The biblical term for that closest would be altar, right? Like, it's the closest. It's the place where you locate a ton of metaphorical meaning, and so like, for 1,000 of those to be subsumed into the void, it's like he carries in his person so much meaning for so many people.
Yeah.
But within himself, he's actually he feels the void. He feels the emptiness.
Wow.
I don't know.
I bet you're right.
But a lot of that's a thing that a lot of people who are very significant people go through.
Yeah.
Right? You end up doing these really significant things for people, and people and then you're like, you just feel this encroaching emptiness. And of course, it's like, for me, there's ways to interpret that to say, okay, then you're not God.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you shouldn't be the shrine. So the emptiness is almost it's like a memento mori. It's like, remember that you must die. Like, there's all these different ways that people like try to ground themselves, you know what I mean, or that God helps us to ground ourselves, because like, one of the worst things you can do is begin to believe the things that people say about you. Seriously, because if you've ever really done something, believe it or not, I mean, from our perspective, if you've ever done something significant to help a person, it's not you, it's God working through you. Right. And so it's like, you're the shrine, but the thing that's working through you is divinity. And so if the divinity like pulls himself out of you, you're going back to being empty.
Right.
So you're a shrine that gets collapsed into a void, because you're supposed to be the shrine of the divine. If you think about it, like, if you know, like, that's what we were supposed to be. Is like, God created these little, there's an idea, you know, where in the Old Testament where God says, "Don't make an image of me." Yep. You shall have no graven images of God. And see, all these other religions had these icons, and they didn't think that the statue was divine. That's a lot. Right. A lot of like people misunderstand that from the biblical perspective. They never thought the statue was divine. They thought the statue was like
represented the divine.
But that the divine being would be a conduit. Yes. Where the divine being would like inhabit the thing. Yep.
So like a channel by which you would. Yeah.
Right. And so it's this really interesting thing in the Old Testament where God says, "Don't make any images. Don't make any images of me." And he said in Exodus, when I delivered you, you saw no form. Yep. Blah, 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 don't make an image of me. Of course, the really interesting thing is that human beings are called the image of God in Genesis 1:26. Yes. So it's like, it's never stated explicitly, but it's like, there's no need to make any images of God, because you are the image of God. Right. You are the shrine. You are the conduit. You are the antenna of God. You do house a divine being within yourself. But the minute you try to take credit for that and he leaves, then you go back to being an empty shrine. So if you don't, that's the thing, like, I always say, like, in these shows and stuff, that God is very present. Yeah. And I think that that's what he's describing, like, wow. Sure, I don't think it's good to say that you'll never forgive God, but he's saying that God heard him. Right. Okay, well, if you are in some crazy religious environment where you're not allowed to express that, even though the Psalms, 60% of them are full of people saying that God hurt them, or people saying, "Leave me alone," to God, "Turn away from me so that I may see happiness." Right, like then God is moving in that moment.
Yeah.
And if you're giving people an outlet to express that, then God is moving within you. Mm-hmm. But if you don't recognize that there's divine action happening there, then you're going to end up with that emptiness. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be able to place it and know where it is.
Yeah.
And why it is.
Yeah.
That's my take anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking, like, when you were saying the feeling of that emptiness and stuff, I just, like, the heart in my head, like, it's a call to return to Christ or come to Christ. So...
Yeah. Now, here's interesting. Is God to live in a dog? No, but the highest are of us. Okay, so I put that in Google because I was trying to find the lyrics because I wanted to shoot this video.
Yeah.
And that's when I eventually broke down and just had you do the lyric video. But that's actually a quote. So I'm going to read.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read this. Like, I'm going to read the little passage. This is from the Liber al Veil Legis it's Thelema.
What's that?
Thelema, it's a form of Satanism.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's a direct quote.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay?
What is this list? I see numbers.
Well, it's verses.
Oh, these are verses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they had verses now, right?
Yeah, so, so listen to this. So I'm starting from verse 17.
Does it go by chapters? Or, I mean, how can people even find this?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want people to go find the thelemic blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But find it on your own. You have Google. Hear me, you people a sighing. The sorrows of pain and regret are left to the dead and the dying. The folk that not know me as yet. So there's this, like, I guess this divine being who's speaking. So it's basically, if you're a person that's full of regret and you're complaining all the time, then you haven't yet come to knowledge.
Okay.
These are dead, these fellows, they feel not. We are not for the poor and sad. The lords of the earth are our kinsfolk. So if you're like one of these like low people who's whining all the time, we're not for you. We're not part of you. Our kinsfolk are the lords of the earth. They're the rulers.
Interesting.
If you're all down and all that shit, you're not on the team. So verse 19. Is a God to live in a dog? No, but the highest are of us. They shall rejoice, our chosen. Who sorroweth is not of us. So if you're a sorrowful person, you're not one of us. Mm-hmm. Can a divine being live in a dog? If you're all low and crying and all that shit, then we're not part of you, but only the high people are.
Okay.
Right. Beauty and strength, leaping laughter and delicious languor, force and fire are of us. So live life to the fullest.
That's cool.
We have nothing with the outcast and the unfit. Let them die in their misery.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
For they feel not. Compassion is the vice of kings. Stamp down the wretched and the weak. This is the law of the strong. This is our law and the joy of the world. End quote.
Yeah. What's the verse where it says that Jesus is he's near to those who are lowly?
Come to me who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest for your souls.
No, there's one
because I'm lowly and meek, and you'll find rest for your souls. But there's the other one where God in Isaiah says, "I dwell on a high and holy hill," but also with the one who's low and meek and contrite and all that.
Yeah.
yeah. There you are. So it's very. I mean, this is some Nazi shit at some level, right? Where it says, we have nothing to do with the outcast and the unfit. Let them die in their misery.
Yeah, wow, yikes.
Stamp down the wretched and the weak. Compassion is the vice of kings. Vice is like a bad addiction that a destructive addiction. You say like porn and drugs would say is vice.
Yeah.
Like it's got you in a grip. So compassion is the vice of kings. So.
Gosh, okay.
So here's the thing. It's like, okay, on the one hand, you're complaining about the terrible fucked up shit that Christianity has done in history.
Yeah.
But then you're quoting a passage that says we need to stamp out the miserable and the unfit. And that if you're depressed and you're sad, you're weak and you're worthless.
That's weird because if his music gives those people a vehicle or a place of understanding.
Right.
At the end, he's saying, we're gonna kill
we need some answers, Nurgle.
Yeah. This is very confusing. I was coming out to bat for you and now I'm confused.
Like, what worldview says that the downtrodden, the weak, and the outcast are valuable?
Christianity does.
I always say, like, what worldview creates the handicap spot in the
Christianity does.
Walmart?
Listen, we have our flaws, but
well, the only flaws that Christians have are when we're not acting like Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
But like,
that's true.
You know, what worldview values the unfit and says we're going to honor you and give you a parking space at the head of the Walmart?
Yeah.
You're definitely not going to get there from this shit.
No.
Let them die in their misery. The outcast and the unfit.
Yeah.
God almighty. But this is about, like, you know, empowerment and is God to live in a dog? It's basically like, stop whining all the time and fucking stand up and be a man and be a woman and live your life to the fullest, because no divinity can live in something that, you know, like that. We're not for that. We're for the people who are going to live life and all that shit. That's why, you know, when Nergal was going through his cancer and such, I think he got a lot of empowerment from this. Because it's like, okay, you've got leukemia, Nergal. Well, fucking stand up and be a man, and face it head on and crush it.
Yep.
Well, not everybody has the type of fortitude to be able to do what he did.
Right. Right.
You know, and we still say that, you know, regardless.
The only reason he had that was because God gave it to him.
Because he's, you know, God's got a plan for him, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was very, very interesting, like, saying that. Because, like, that's right in the middle of you know. So people were giving Nergal a lot of shit for saying God equals dog. Like, that's a really immature title, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, if you understood where he was quoting from and the combination of what God and dog means, that's actually a pretty meaningful title. It looks immature to the uninitiated. Yeah. But it's kind of like a subliminal sort of like, huh? To the people that know this shit. And I had no idea, but I was trying to look at the...
luckily you were trying to find a lyric video.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really, really interesting. But yeah, that's like right in the middle of like... It's like, okay.
Yeah. Honey, what does Adonai mean? I know that's a name for God. Okay, wait, let's start with Elohim first. I didn't realize Elohim was up there.
Elohim is...
the plural form of God, right?
Yeah, when you say God, a lot of times in the Old Testament you'll have Elohim, and the I am functions like an S. Okay. So literally in Genesis 1:1 it says, in the beginning God's created the heavens and the earth. So... Oh my gosh, on both of our phones just going off notifications. Oh yeah. Yeah, oh, with all those subscribers. Oh no! Oh no! So Elohim is a way to say is when you most of the time when you see God in the Old Testament, it's Elohim. Yes. Which that has an interesting etymology, because in the pagan pantheon, El had a god. El was the god, and then he had a son named Baal, and Baal was a thunder god, and blah blah blah. So you've got, you know, Odin and Thor, and then you've got, you know, Yahweh and Jesus. Yes. Who kind of rides on the clouds and takes care of business too. So there you are. So anyway, Elohim is a Hebrew word for God. Okay. The majority of the times, I mean 90% of the time, you see God in your Hebrew Bible, it's Elohim. Yes. Yep. So okay, I shall not forgive. Yeah. So that's usually like God as creator. Okay. What about Adonai? Adonai. I just want to get to Adonai. Adonai means Lord. Just means Lord? Yeah. Okay. Lord as in master. Okay. So Adonai is God in the sense of God being the master of the universe. So Elohim, God as creator, I shall not forgive. Adonai, God as master, I shall not forgive. Living God, that is so That was so interesting to me too. Because in the Hebrew Bible, he's called the living God in contrast to the idols, which the scripture constantly says are dead idols. Yes. Like, and you know, it's kind of like it's a mocking term to the gods of the surrounding the peoples. Yeah. Because it was like, our God is alive, your God is dead. Yeah. And so, that's very interesting. Yeah. And then Jesus Christ, I forgive thee not. So
So what do you think he's not forgiving him for? Now, see, according to the music video, it makes sense. Like, but what do you think lyrically? Maybe it's for the feeling that he has?
What are the feelings of emptiness or whatever?
Yeah, those feelings of emptiness and...
Because it's an interesting progression, right? Because beginning he's saying that, like, there are all these, ancient religions or whatever, and they all gave him sort of a... shaped his understanding of who he was, right?
Yep.
And then he's a missing link between the pig and the divine. Outcast, but so like I'm a rock star, I'm like a semi-divine being, and I'm doing all this. Then it goes to I'm no good shepherd on an ox. Like I'm not everybody's I'm not like the pastor of the whatever. But I feel this emptiness, right? And then it's like, okay, how do you deal with that emptiness? And then he quotes that passage in that text: "Is a God to live in a dog?" So basically, stop feeling bad about it, suck it up, and move on.
Yep.
And then the next line is, how he's not going to forgive God. And I think that you feel that emptiness, but then the thelemic principle is stand up and suck it up and move on, because otherwise you're going to be a dog, and the gods don't inhabit dogs. And then, so what does he do? He converts his feelings of emptiness and all that into anger at God.
Yeah. Well, he says at the beginning when he's explaining those other things, if he's talking about Elohim and Adonai and Jesus Christ as being the living God that he's not going to forgive, then all those other gods, he's not calling those living gods, but those gave him some sort of an experience. So they gave those things he had some sort of experience along with it. But then, like Jesus Christ, he feels that like emptiness. You know what I mean? I
was like really far from God one time in my life, and my brother asked us all this question. He said,
"Your older brother?"
Yeah. Who kind of always had like a straight path with God. Like he never really. Mm-hmm. He said, "Okay, you're in a car accident and you're in a hospital. Who visits you?" And so we went around the room, and I said, "Jesus visited me." And then I said, "What was the point of that exercise?" A couple hours later, he goes, "Whoever visits you in the hospital is a person that you love the most, or whatever." Right? So like, my girl at the time said I visited her. I didn't say she visited me. I said Jesus visited me. Yikes! And whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like it was love the most, but then it was like famous person, like some people say famous. It's like person you love the most or would most like you'd most want to see. So I always wondered, and I was like, Pah! At the time, because I was like Pah! Poppycock. I always wonder though, like these. Especially with him, like he keeps talking about God all the time. And it's always the Christian God. And he like he said, the holy Ganges River, it's like he has a space in his mind for holy things, holy spirituality. But so it seems to me that like sometimes I wonder, like, especially like the Satanists who like look at us and mock us and stuff like that. Like, I always wonder, like, if they're almost a little bit envious of the walk that we have with God and all the rest. But let's even say you're a theistic Satanist. Like, Satan doesn't fulfill you,
right?
He doesn't like.
Right.
It's not like the devil shows up and gives you unconditional love and grace and mercy. And I almost wonder, like, if he's like not forgiving God for not, when I had this friend who said he hates God because he refuses to reveal himself to him. Or there was a dude from Megwa who said like he wants to believe but he can't, or something like that. Yeah. The black metal guy.
Yep.
Somebody mentioned that in the fireside chat, and I wasn't able to address it because we were dealing with the little homie. You still haven't emailed me, big guy. So yeah, it's that line is extremely captivating to me, that to end the song that way.
Yep.
I really liked the musicianship in this song. Like there was highs and lows, and there was a lot of like. This is a song from them that I've seen the most variation, because there was some melody, there was like I really like this song.
Oh, I did too. I always like all of their songs.
I don't know. Some of them, the Ora Pro Nobis wasn't that good in my opinion.
I liked it though.
I gave it a high score because of the lyrics, but this song, the musicianship and the lyrics, I like. What do you give the song?
9.8.
Really? I was gonna give it a 9.5, but I'll go 9.8 with you. I'm never gonna give Behemoth a 10 ever.
I think I did. I
Period.
gave it a 10, didn't I?
No, we never gave it a 10.
I didn't?
No, we gave A Father's Hate No Son a 666.
Oh, that's funny. I like that part of the video.
I said hit 23 if you listen to this whole review.
Yeah. So we still see a 23 will pop up.
Yeah,
here
we'll
and
see
there.
23s pop up. Type 59 if you've seen this review and you receive a special award. I really, really like the song, and the song does something to me emotionally, and I can't yet figure it out. But I listen to the song a lot. Somebody asked me, like, do you ever listen to songs you disagree with? And, you know, obviously I don't believe in. We need God's forgiveness. He doesn't need ours.
Yeah.
But I understand the sentiment.
Yes.
Yep. I understand the sentiments, and I've had experiences with God where He's never asked me for an apology, but He's been extremely understanding of me, and I'm not getting into that. But unhand me. What did you say? 9.8. 9.8. All right, good. Shout out to the big homie Nergal. It's inevitable, my man. You will do an interview with us.
Yes, you will.
We don't believe in free will.
No.
Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.